Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talkin Trim. I'm Jonathon Skinner and today we're looking at some fully trimmed front seats and headrest units for the Jaguar E-Type range. So these seats are effectively applicable to all the Roadsters, two-seater fixed-head coupes and the four-seater 2+2 models, but they do vary on the series. The seat covers, the frames, etc. did change on the series, although they look very, very similar. So this specific set is actually out of a Series 2. So it's got the sort of tilt and recline version of the frames, and this specific set has got some headrests as well, which most Series 2 and Series 3 cars left with. However, there's a bit of a backstory to that which I will go into. This specific set has been done in sand grained leather. Most of our colours we can offer grained or smooth, so check our website for more details and obviously contact us for samples as well. And we've done these seats to OEM factory spec, meaning that they are what we refer to as leather. We actually refer to them as leather face. A lot of people out there refer to them as leather. Basically means the bits that touch your body are leather when you sit in the seats, i.e. this front panel here, this base panel here, and all of the headrests actually, but the sort of backs and the surrounds are vinyl. So the surround here is vinyl, the back of the backrest here is vinyl. This section here is always leather as well, by the way, but that's effectively the what we refer to as the leather face spec. Other people refer to it as the leather, not to be confused with full leather, which we can also offer, which basically omits vinyl and replaces it with leather, so we can also offer that as well. But from the factory, the majority of the cars would have left to this specification. Now it's worth noting as well that there were changes around the Series 1.5, Series 2 range in terms of the headrests and also the pleats. First thing to note, on the very early headrest version of the cars, they had a completely different version of the headrest, which was a kind of barrel shaped pleated version, so it had a few little pleats. Please do see the link to the video at the end, as I've done a video showing some of those rare pleated headrests, but they are extremely rare. The majority of the E-Types, if they left with headrests, left with these versions here. Then it's also worth noting the spec of the pleats and the centre panel of the headrest. These are what we refer to as plain, as they are just leather element of the headrest there, and same again on the pleated panel here, they're just plain. However, some of the, well, rather the majority of the Series 2 and pretty much all the Series 3 cars left with an embossed pattern on the pleats, as per this photo here. Now we can obviously offer that as well, but this specific set, because it's a very early Series 2, in fact could be considered a Series 1.5 car, the customer has gone for the plain version of the seat cover, pleats and headrests. So just bear that in mind, but we can offer both varieties, so keep that in mind. Now it's worth noting as well, actually, this seat frame, being the sort of Series 2 spec, is the one that tilts and reclines, so it tilts forward and reclines back, whereas the Series 1, for example, only tilted forward. And this specific set, actually, the frames made an allowance for the headrest, i.e. it had a headrest bracket, but the customer's original seats were much like this one in this book here. They had stoppers in the top of them, which is what Jaguar did for some of the cars during this era. They made an allowance for the headrest frames, but didn't necessarily install headrests. I think it's all related to the American market. North American market had laws implemented where you had to have headrests, but obviously for the mass production of the Jaguars, they changed the frames but didn't necessarily add headrests to all the cars unless they were going to North America, etc. So I think it's probably an allowance for that. Either way, the frames allowed for headrests. The customer didn't have headrests originally but wanted to add them. So for the headrest, we've actually supplied all of the inner hardware, so the spades, the foams, and then obviously the covers, and trimmed them up. Whereas with the frames, the customer supplied us his old frames. We've sandblasted them, painted them, used new hardware, so foams, diaphragms, webbings, tacking strips, etc., and then trimmed them up using our seat covers. We've actually also repaired and sandblasted the runners, and painted rather, the runners underneath. Customer sent us those as well. Normally people don't bother sending us the runners per se, but this customer did, and so we've done that work there. The only thing that's kind of missing off these seats at the moment are the side trims, because as you can see, they're a bit worse for wear, so we're going to be replacing those for the customer as well. They haven't arrived in stock yet, so we'll be installing those after the fact. In fact, I believe the customer might want us to trim those in the sand leather as well. So we'll hopefully do that and get some photos done of that as well. But as you can see, lovely job done. Sand grained leather, OEM spec, factory spec. We use leathercloth for the piping where colours allow, which is about 90% of our colours allow for leathercloth. A lot of other companies out there use vinyl for piping. Do see my YouTube video and blog post about the pros and cons of vinyl for piping. Really just cons. But it's these sort of pedantic details that we're renowned for. Leathercloth is way more suitable for piping because it's a lot more robust, it's a bit thinner, but has a better backing to it, so it allows for tighter turnover, but also doesn't scuff as easily as vinyl in that regard. And yeah, we, like I say, do that as standard for our piping where colours allow. Unfortunately, some colours we have to use vinyl, but for the most part we use leathercloth, whereas a lot of other companies out there, for cost saving purposes, purely use vinyl for the pipings. So bear that in mind. It's those little details that we adhere to and have done for many years. It's actually worth noting as well, leathercloth was originally what they used back in the 60s and 70s for the piping as well. Sometimes referred to as vinide, sometimes referred to as Rexin. Yeah, so obviously we do that as standard. Then, yeah, we've trimmed these up. They look absolutely lovely. We love trimming these E-type seats because they're a very simplistic seat design, but they come together really nice. And it's all about the definition on these things. You can see it's obviously got these cross seams where the foam padding had a dip recess into it, and it's all about getting the definition in that area, and especially then making sure that these side bits here don't have any creases or crinkles in them, which is a tough job to do. Then the other obvious thing is obviously to make sure that all the pleats line up, etc. And it's these sort of things, we like doing them in the house because it showcases our products how they should be showcased. Unfortunately, just because you get a kit from us, it gives you the ability to get results like this, but it doesn't guarantee it. It's all down to the way it's fitted, and even professional trimmers out there sometimes are in over their heads when it comes to these sorts of things. And this is part of the reason that I started showcasing our products on YouTube, because it gives you a nice glimpse into how you should be able to attain the best results from these sort of things. So as you can see, absolutely beautifully done. Really enjoy doing these, and hoping to get a load of photos from the customer when everything is fitted into the car, because I do like this colour. It might be a bit of a nightmare to maintain now, but we will see. But yeah, obviously you can see the seats are semi-handed as well. Obviously this is where the transmission gearbox tunnel went down the middle of. But yeah, lovely seats. I think I'll probably cover my bases there. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe and share with other classic car enthusiasts, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.